Alright, here's my review for What If Season 3, which is on Disney Plus now. It came out about a month ago. I know I'm very behind. I was busy over the holidays, but I've been meaning to review this show as I still wanted to talk about it and be a part of the conversation, and a part of me just still wanted this to be included in my review history. But this is going to be a spoiler free review, so you guys can keep watching. I just feel like I'm so far behind, I don't have time to do a breakdown of each episode. But I also just kind of want to pick out my favorites because it was very much a up and down ride for me, and it was definitely the weaker of the three seasons that I felt personally. I'm a big fan of What If, and I was very excited for season 3 of this show. It looked interesting to me. Sure, there were some things I could have picked out where I was like, maybe don't do that, but I still had hope, and I feel like I was definitely one of the bigger advocates for seasons 1 and 2 of What If. I feel like I was telling everybody about that show, and I really do love seasons 1 and 2 of What If. They still both had their low points or weaker episodes, but I felt like they were stronger overall seasons than what we got out of season 3 this year or last year. But I'm going to run through each episode real quick and kind of give you guys the breakdown of how I felt about each episode without giving any spoilers away. So starting with episode 1, which is called What If the Hulk Fought the Mech Avengers. I love Anthony Mackie. I love Sam Wilson. I'm very excited for Captain America, Brave New World. But I felt like this was one of the weaker episodes. The suits were kind of cool for like a second. I grew up with Power Rangers, but, stuff like that. But I just didn't care for it in this context personally. And just the story itself was not that interesting to me with the whole Hulk thing. I feel like I like Hulk. I feel like the idea of that could have been way cooler, but I didn't feel the execution was how I personally would have done it. And this was also the start of the trend of them doing this season characters that they have content coming for very soon. So, like, why was Sam Wilson, like, the main part of this episode, along with the Hulk, when we have a Sam Wilson and Red Hulk movie coming up? It seemed like a waste of the what if idea to me. Which you'll see that they'll do this in upcoming episodes that we're going to talk about in a second. But episode 2, What If Agatha Went to Hollywood, I thought was one of the better episodes. It features Kingo from the Eternals, played by Kumail Nanjiani, who I love. And of course, Agatha Harkness, played by Kathryn Hahn. And I thought they were a fun pairing. I liked Eternals. I still have my issues with it, but I also just watched Agatha all along, and I love Agatha Harkness. I also liked that it was dealing with filmmaking as well. That was like kind of a personal thing that I appreciated. But the second half of the episode really picked up for me. I think it wasn't perfect, but I think it was one of the better ones of this season, if you like those characters. But again, you could argue we just had Agatha all along. Why are you using Agatha in What If when What If should be allowed to use all of the characters that the Marvel Universe has? Let's pick the one that we just had a TV show for. It doesn't really make sense to me. But anyways, I do think it was still worth watching. But let's go on to episode 3. What If the Red Guardian Stopped the Winter Soldier? This was probably the epitome of this feels like the Thunderbolts movie, but only with the Red Guardian and the Winter Soldier. It didn't really make sense to me, like, why, like, this pair-up wasn't that unique to me. It was more like, aren't we gonna see this in Thunderbolts in May? Why are we doing this in What If? So this was probably my least favorite episode, and have no desire to ever rewatch this one ever again. Definitely skip this one. Episode 4, What If Howard the Duck Got Hitched? This one I had maybe the lowest expectations for, and was the most surprised by it, and ended up being one of my favorite episodes. It was strangely sweet and kind of just a fun pairing. This one I felt like was refreshing because it was dealing with characters that we hadn't dealt with in other mediums recently. Like we haven't seen Howard the Duck in a while, or even that much, honestly. So I was glad to see this character getting a little more attention. And I did think it was a strong episode. I actually would rewatch this episode and had a lot of fun with it. And I think I kind of teared up at the end. Another one. Okay, episode 5. What if the emergence destroyed Earth? This was dealing with Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. Makes no sense to me because she's up against Quentin Beck and his Iron Legion, so it's kind of like Spider-Man, Far From Home, and except with Riri Williams. And I just feel like we're kind of getting something like that already with the Ironheart TV show coming out this year. Why make, same question, why make an episode about this character when we're going to be getting a TV show with her soon? None of them really feel like they're awful. They're just feels like wasted potential within a show that's supposed to be so about the reaching out to the ends of the universe and doing whatever you can possibly think of. This more feels like, hey, you got to use the characters we're doing shows and movies for this year or last year. Like, I don't understand. Like, it seemed like a weird... I don't know if Marvel was like, you can't use anybody else. Like, you have to use these characters to help promote those things or something weird like that. I would hate that. But, yeah, very, very disappointing with having to do these characters we're going to see so much of already. It's kind of like an on-off thing, though. Episode 6, What If 1872, deals with Shang-Chi, probably my favorite Marvel character, and Kate Bishop, aka Hawkeye, in the Wild West, which is a pretty cool collab. And I'm a big fan of Shang-Chi and his movie, and I do like Kate Bishop, I like Haley Steinfeld, and I like the team up of those two. And I love westerns, so it was a interesting recipe that I was ready to eat. Our episode 7, What If the Watcher Disappeared, deals with Captain Carter, Kaori, who I love from season 2 of What If, and Birdie, a new character, and Storm from X-Men, which I was very excited to see. And as you saw in the trailer, she is wielding Mjolnir, which I thought was sick and one of my favorite aspects of this episode. I personally like this one. I recommend this one if you are into those characters. And I do think it has a connection to episode 4 of What If Howard the Duck Got Hitched. So I do recommend watching this one and then the Howard the Duck Got Hitched and then watch The Watcher Disappeared. I just would skip The Emergence Destroyed the Earth and then keep watching 1872 because it's just a good episode. But I like this one. It wasn't my favorite, but I dug it. And then episode 8, which is the finale, and what they're saying is the last episode of What If, I thought had its moments, definitely action-packed, and did some really cool stuff. But it ended with so much that teased ideas of what could be. And it got, I think, all of us thinking, like, why not do that? Why not do this? Why not do all those things you just, like, showed us in a brief sequence, and, like, in the credits and stuff like that, like, concept art, it was like, why didn't you go with these ideas? You know, I was very disappointed by that, but I think it completely goes in line with, like, what we've been talking about for this whole season anyways. So yeah, a lot of wasted potential. I just felt like it could have been so much more. And I still think it had its great moments. I think I'm more optimistic about it than most people are. And like I said, I picked out my favorite episodes. What If Agatha Went to Hollywood? What If Howard the Duck Got Hitched? What If 1872? And the last 2 episodes, The Watcher Disappeared and What If. Highly recommend. But I feel like it's a little smaller number than how I felt about season 2. Like, I loved all of these episodes were really great. I loved every single one of season 2. Season 1 was absolutely amazing. I love every single one of these episodes. Like, each one was so much stronger. But it was dealing with characters I think they were trying to kind of parody the movies, and they were doing, like, Captain America the First Avenger, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers, Doctor Strange. Then they started kind of trail off with, like, Thor and Iron Man, and then that was kind of it. But I do think it was much stronger, and they were able to do more interesting things, maybe, or something. But yeah, this season 3 was all over the place for me personally. But I would love to hear what you guys thought of What If season 3, and or if you guys plan on watching any episodes. Let me know down below. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care.